Yo guys, welcome back to a brand new video and another episode of my F1 2019 career mode, and we are back here today for another race, this time at the Belgian Grand Prix, round number 13 of the season. If you guys missed the last episode, it will be linked in the top right hand corner of your screen. There will also be a link to the video done yesterday, which was actually in Kimi Raikkonen's 2005 McLaren around Suzuka, recreating the drive he did at Suzuka 14 years ago, if you will, because the Real Life Grand Prix was aired on the YouTube channel this weekend. I thought it'd be quite nice to do something different on the channel for a change. So go watch that video, guys, and give it a chance. But for today's video, we're here at Belgium and we have a chance of rain in qualifying. Heavy rain expected throughout Saturday. No rain on the race, just sunny conditions. And then in terms of upgrades, unfortunately, only one of the two have arrived, and they're both major. So the good news is it's still going to be a reasonable performance increase, but it could have been better. And also, it's worth noting, the midfield teams are catching the big teams now. It's getting scary. Like, we're really getting close now, and there's clear separation there between the lower half of the midfield and the top half. But also some big news coming to this weekend. It looks like there's going to be another R&D reset / regulation change for next season, and this time it's going to affect the aerodynamics. So very interesting, that one. I'm going to guess that will probably come into effect around Suzuka or maybe Singapore. So we've got to try and keep our points and keep our mind open to that possibility. Having said that, I jumped into practice this weekend and straight away, I don't know why, but the car didn't feel good. I was much slower than Kubica. I'm running 110 and I'm going to commit to running 110 because that's what I used here last season. But I was so much slower than what I should be, and I couldn't find an explanation for my lack of pace. And the general consensus, the feeling I had in the car was, it just gives me too much understeer, and I could put more aerodynamics on the front, but that would give me instability. And also, if I'd put air on the front and the rear, I would just lose too much on the straight. So I couldn't quite find a solution. So I've had to commit to this kind of low downforce, high speed, slow corner setup, if you will. But the amount of understeer I have it didn't feel right. The car's felt good the last 6-7 races. Maybe even go back to like last season, but this one, it just didn't feel right. And I think it's because we need to make a certain major aerodynamic upgrade on the front end of the car, which is still pending. We need to make it because we did it on the rear, not on the front. Therefore, the car's unbalanced. So I'm going to be looking into doing that, even though I've got the R&D regulation change on the way. I want to look into investing and trying to get an upgrade on the car because the car just doesn't feel that good. So we're going to set our eyes on to get an upgrade on Friday for Singapore, hopefully. I think for this one, we'll try and buy it in this episode if we can afford it, because we have to repurchase that major engine upgrade that failed as well. So yeah, overall, a couple of things on the list, on the to-do list, if you will, as we jump into qualifying here. And straight away, Q1, it started off with monsoon conditions, heavy rain conditions with the full wet, so you can see at the moment. And I was one of the first cars to actually hit the track on the intermediate. I just skipped the full wet session because I saw the track was going to dry up, and I went out on the intermediates. And Kvyat currently now setting the pace in the Toro Rosso, before 10ths down on him through the first sector with 2.5 minutes to go. And this lap was decent. There was no mistakes on the lap. It just wasn't majorly quick. And I almost got into trouble because you'll see on screen I've got about 2 laps of fuel left and 2 minutes on the clock. It's very close. And I genuinely didn't think I'd be able to have enough fuel or time to get around, and like with 2 minutes to go, and the lap being 1 minute 53, I didn't think I'd have enough time to kind of cruise around, save fuel, whilst also pushing and going for one more lap. But somehow the lap was good. I pushed on the whole lap as if it were a proper time lap, and we managed to just cross the line with 3 to 2 seconds to spare. And somehow we're going to have also enough fuel to go for one more lap on that exact same run, which I did not see coming. So we're going to get a second chance here to get out of Q1, because we are currently P5, but everybody is about to start setting their intermediate lap times. So we're going to drop down, way down the order. You can see the bus stop chicane there, all the cars are coming into the final corner, and we're going to start dropping like a stone. So we need to improve here, and we are doing so straight away, getting a fantastic run through a Rouge, and nearly 3/10 up here through the first sector. As Hamilton sets at 51.3. Now going to get down the pit Kemmel straight in towards the Lake-On, braking as late as possible, throwing the car in, tapping the inside curb for some extra rotation, and then slowly bringing the car to the left-hand side to open up the right-hander of Malmedy. And now on the power, down the hill towards turn 8, Ravages. We're now down to the 13th place. And our P14, look at that, we're just dropping like a stone here. So this lap has to be good. We can't make any mistakes, as we're now 16th and out of qualifying as things stand. And we're now going through turn 9. But it's a very good lap so far, 7/10 up on my previous best, as we now go down towards Pouon, dropping a gear keeping it nice and tight, using sixth gear for some extra rotation, again suffering from some understeer through there. And now flat out through the exit, down towards the Fania chicane. Really important here to kind of sacrifice the right to open up the left and really get the exit out of here, taking a nice bit of inside curve, a little bit too much, so we get a bit of oversteer. But look at this, that 8.5 tenths up. This is very good so far as we now go into Stavlo. Easy on the power through here, using all the curb on the exit, and currently 1.2 down on Lewis, and we are last in P20, so we have to make this lap count, and we can't have any mistakes as we get some oversteer out of Stavlo 2. Flat out along the back straight. Can we keep it flat through Blanchimont? Yes, we do, flat out. And now looking for the break point into the bus stop chicane, braking at the 100-meter board, trying to push the limits of how late I can brake there. Big lock up on the front right, but we get the car rotated using first gear there, and on the power, smooth it out the final corner. And we are going to improve by 0.8 of a second. Will it be enough to get us into Q2? And the answer is yes, we do. We just get in, as does Robert Kubica in P15. So both cars into Q2 then, and overall a positive Q1. And the rain was a blessing in disguise because it kind of hid my issues with the understeer in the car and my general struggles. So overall, a very good Q1 session. We get to Q2, which is fantastic, and my teammate also does the same thing, which is really, really good. So overall, a good start. But then Q2, it was intermediate throughout the entire session, but I was the first car to go out on the dry tyres in the last part of qualifying, and I went out early because I want to make sure I cross the line at the end of the time lap, so I have time to cool off my tyres on the in lap if I need to, because otherwise I'm going to have extra tyre wear in the race. So it's better to do the in lap manually if you can. But nonetheless, here we go. Let's go for this lap in Q2.
2 minutes remaining in the session. We need a good lap here, or we're out of qualifying.
We're going to be the first one to test the track conditions here, as we're going to turn one. A little bit of a lock up there on the power, on the exit, nice and smoothly, no wheel spin at all, and nicely down the hill as we get a good exit out of one. And now up towards Rouge here, all about carrying the speed all the way up the hill, trying to straight line the corner as much as possible without ruining your momentum. And now open up DRS as we go through the back straight here on the Kemmel straight, and now looking for the 50-meter board as a reference into Les Combes. You're going to try and really push the limits here, tap the inside curve if possible. I ran a bit wide there, but as expected, we are fastest through the first sector, throwing the car through Malmedy and using all the track available to us as we now go down the hill towards turn 8 at Ravage. Down a couple of gears here as the car does understeer a little bit through here, quite, especially for me, quite badly. Now through turn 9 again, trying to carry the momentum, but the front end is struggling to really turn there. I'm losing a lot of time, I can really feel it as we now go down towards Pouan here. Going to drop it a gear, and again feeling a little bit of understeer, so we have to go off the gas a little bit more than I'd like as we now go flat out on the exit down towards the Fania chicane here, trying to keep a nice tight right-hander to open up the left, using fourth gear to really pick up the extra rotation, taking a nice chunk of the inside curve and let the car run wide on the exit. Down a couple of gears for Stavlo, again broke a little bit earlier there, could have gone a little bit later on the brakes, but still flat out through Stavlo 2, and so far so good. No real mistakes in this lap, just suffering from the issues I've had all weekend long. Other than that, it's been pretty damn good, and the car's working well as we're now going into Blanchimont. Easy flat through here, no dramas whatsoever. And now looking for the brake point into the bus stop chicane. You want to look for the 100-meter board, brake just after it, and they go down to second gear, possibly first if you need the rotation. In this case, I keep it in second. They go down to first for the second part of the bus stop, and then on the power, nice and smoothly, open up DRS, and we are going to go P1. Not surprising at all with the 42.0, but I thought that lap was pretty good. No real mistakes, but unfortunately the pace I had in practice came to fruition in Q2, and it wasn't good, guys. We struggled. You can see on screen we finished P15 with that lap. Everybody behind improved. The good news is Kubica got P12, and I don't normally want my teammate to out-qualify me, but having said that, if he's P12, he might have some good pace, and there might be a good chance he could score points tomorrow, so that's good news for us as a team. I think I could do better. If I'd gone last out of all the cars, I could have maybe got 13th or 12th maybe, but I didn't have the pace for a top 10, no way. So overall, we didn't quite maximise the qualifying, but then again, there was no mistakes on my lap, so not much more I could have done differently. Ultimately, we're just suffering from too much understeer, and hopefully we can do better in the race, and hopefully it's not as severe. But that is it for qualifying, guys. We're now going to move into the race for round 13 for the Belgian Grand Prix.
Who doesn't love the Belgian Grand Prix? It's the race, of course, that gave maiden pole positions to the Jordan and Force India teams, with Rubens Barrichello and Giancarlo Fisichella respectively. Jordan, of course, would then go on to better that here in 1998 with their first ever victory. And you can guarantee that something special will always happen at Spa-Francorchamps. But what that something is today is anybody's guess. Spa-Francorchamps then, a historic 19-corner circuit with a lap distance of 4.35 miles. There's over 100 metres of elevation change here, and with long stretches of the lap spent flat out, a good top speed will be vital for success. And it's an absolute pleasure to be joined once again by Anthony Davidson. So, let's briefly discuss Lewis Hamilton. They come into this race with a healthy championship lead. I don't want to say the title race is over, but surely it's going to take something special or catastrophic to change the outcome at this point.
Certainly there are worse positions to be in, but it's vital they don't let complacency creep in. As soon as you let yourself think it's over before it actually is, that's where everything can and often will go wrong.
With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and it's Valtteri Bottas that completes the front row. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Gasly, Leclerc, Daniel Ricciardo, and Raikkonen, Perez, Magnussen, Sainz, and Sebastian Vettel, Kubica, Norris, Nico Hülkenberg, Martinez, Grosjean, Verstappen. They've taken a grid penalty. Alexander Albon and Lance Stroll, Giovinazzi, and Daniel Kvyat completes the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Right, so here we are then on the grid, starting from P14 for the Belgian Grand Prix. And overall, as you guys saw, not the best qualifying, but we're going to try and, put things right in the race. Normally, I do tend to have better race pace on the Sundays, and I think strategy is going to be key around here, and starting on the medium tyre is going to be the one. I think having the soft tyre at the end is going to make a big difference, because there's less of a risk of overheating the tyre with a lighter fuel load in the car, which is going to help us out, and I think we could make the difference later on in the Grand Prix. But it's important to go long in this first and have good pace all the way through. We saw in Hungary in the last race how important the overcut was. How I gained so many places and actually put myself into podium contention by going very long in the first stint. So I want to hope for more of the same here today, and we're going to try and do our best. In terms of fuel, we're running 23 laps, so 1 lap more than the race distance, because I want to have a nice bit in the tank. Normally I'd run a little bit less due to the fuel consumption upgrade, but because it's Spa and it's quite fuel consuming anyway, I'm going to run the 1 lap so I can have a little bit more than what I normally would, with the new upgrade. But overall, I'm going to take a chance and I'm going to risk it and commit to running the default wing, which is 6.6. I was debating whether to go 7.6, after suffering so much understeer weekend, but I'm going to go for 6.6 and hope it does the job. I'm going to hope that my race pace is better and somehow we can switch the tyres on. So we're going to jump into it here. Hopefully it's a good race. And first of all, let's have a good start. Let's try to be aggressive and get ourselves near the top 10 on lap 1. And then we'll try and manage the race from there. So let's jump into it. It's time for round 13 for the Belgian Grand Prix. Here we go then. Let's build up the revs and get ready for the 5 red lights here at the circuit Spa-Francorchamps. Lights out. And away we go. Not a bad start to say we're on the medium tight. Everyone else seems to be running the softs. We're boxed in though in turn 1, 3 wide with Verstappen to our left hand side, and I've got a Haas to the right. But we come out on top. I should retake P14. Get in the slipstream through a rouge here. Let's turn the ERS down for now. Let's gather the momentum up the hill. Just using rich mix for now. In the slipstream we're going to turn the engine down to standard engine mode. Just going to use the pure slipstream to get the job done. Everyone's going to go very narrow into Lecom. We're going to go around the outside, find a bit of space and a few positions. Side by side with Lando Norris, who just re-overtakes me there down the inside of Malmedy. Not entirely surprised there. As we go towards turn A, getting very close and very personal with the rear end there of Lando Norris's Haas. But P13, we've gained a place now, so that's a very good halfway point on the lap. Hülkenberg behind looking for a move into Pouan, but we're just going to have enough with standard engine mode to stay in front for now. Just hoping we've got enough front end in this car to really compete here today, because I think I've got straight line speed. I think that's pretty good. That's part of the benefit by running the 6.6 wings. I think we'll gain a bit on the straights, but I'm not sure how quick we are exactly, so we'll find out very shortly as we go through Stavlo. Good run through there, nice and tidy. And Kubica's currently in front of that Ferrari, so he's running in the points at the moment, so good start from him, but that could all be about to change as Sebastian Vettel, I think it is, looking for a move on my teammate. Seems to be a bit of a breakaway. You can look on the mini-map. This little pack of cars here being led by McLaren, I believe. Hülkenberg behind looking for an overtake. I'm going to put my car right in the middle of the track to stop Hülkenberg from looking for a move. Yellow flag. Who's this for? Seems like for nobody, just maybe the AI going very slow. Right then, on to lap 2. Let's get our head down now and let's start making things happen. The important thing in these first few laps is just to keep pace with the AI. I've just got to try and hold pace, and then around lap 4 or 5 we'll start to notice the benefit of the medium time. We'll start to make progress, and that's when we need to start making the progress count and making the moves here. So for now, let's focus on our position. Hulkenberg here getting a bit of momentum, so we're forced to use overtake all the way down the Kemmel Straight, but that's going to keep us in front of him for now. So we gain on Norris. But let's push on. Let's see if we can have some decent race. And from what I can tell, the McLaren in front is pulling away now. It's the one behind. He's got wing damage on the right front. He's missing an end plate, which explains the lack of pace and why Kubica's all over the back of him. And he's now making the move. I've got to pick up the pace here because Hulkenberg's looking for it. I've got to cover the inside. My straight line speed is not terrible, but it's not fantastic. This could get messy here with this McLaren. I've got to be careful. Hulkenberg around the outside. I've got nowhere to go. I'm defending the line, but nowhere to go. I'm giving Hulkenberg a squeeze into the apex there as we hit the back of Lando Norris. My wing's still okay. My wing's intact.
Race officials have enabled DRS. DRS is now available.
Oh dear. Verstappen there, getting way too hot. That was a messy one. Very messy indeed. I think I can take them both though, if we get the right run here. Verstappen's going to get past Norris. DRS is enabled. Verstappen won't have DRS, I don't think. But we're going to get the incredible run all the way up the Kemmel Straight here. A little bit of grass just to make sure we get the move done. But we are going to blast past and retake P12. So there we go. We get past everybody. And we've got the damaged McLaren in front of us. So let's try and get past Raikkonen. And that would give us some breathing room to the cars behind. And we can pull away a little bit. But that was a good bit of racecraft there. Try and, roll with the punches without getting any damage. But definitely having a few scrapes here and there. Right then on the back of Kimi. Let's try and get past him rather quickly and dispose of him and try and pull away. Here we go, slipstream. Got the momentum. We're going to go to the left-hand side. That's a better place to be on this back straight. Hulkenberg looking for the move. He might try and get through as well. No, he doesn't. He slots in behind. That's fine by me. Now Kimi's going to have a slipstream on me here, so we're going to have to put the car in the middle of the track just to defend both the inside and outside lines. And there we go, up to P11 we go. My teammate P10 currently holding the last point as we set a personal best 47.0. Let's try and pull away a little bit. Kubica's going for the move on the McLaren. I think that McLaren's on mediums, so it's an important move to make. I need to try and get past that McLaren as well because he's on the same strategy as me. Seems like the racing point's a bit slow as well as the McLaren goes down the inside of Pouan and makes it work, and now Kubica's tucked in behind. So let's get past the racing point as well, who seems to be struggling. I think it might be me and Kubica both getting past here, making it a double overtake. So that would be both of us into the points, which would be good. Yeah, the racing point's definitely struggling. Can't see wing damage, at least not just yet. As we go through Stavro 2. Let's see if Robert goes for the overtake. Yes, he does. We're going to follow him here, use his car and slipstream to get the overtake as well. Around the outside. Long way around and Blanchimont. Got to lift the throttle a little bit there. Can we get past Kubica now on the brakes? Down the inside at the bus stop chicane. Yes, we do. Up to 9th. Signs in front, he's on mediums. Let's hunt him down. Got both Williams in the points, that's what we want to see. A little bit deep in the brakes out, that's a good lap from me. I'm trying to get within DRS of Carlos Sainz. We've just missed out, unfortunately. As we set another personal best, 46.4. Both myself and Kubica have got good pace. And we're pulling away from the cars behind, so that's good. I might let Kubica go here. He's got better pace than me, to be fair. So I might do a little tactical switch and let him overtake me because, he's got more pace. It is what it is. He's on the soft tyre. He's working better. Hopefully he can get off the signs and I can just follow him. But here comes Robert. Let's make it easy for him with DRS. Let him take the outside line. That's what we want. There we go. And now we can just follow him. Hopefully he can walk away in the distance and we'll try and continue. Okay, this strategy is working quite nicely. Kubica's got good pace and he's cashing signs. Also the Alfa Romeo in front as well is starting to drop back a little bit. He's currently going through Rayon. So we're at that good range where we can afford to just sit here and I'll make the pass once I feel like I'm 100% quicker than Kubica, but for now the pace is still 50-50, so I'm not going to fight Kubica too hard here. We are gaining with the slipstream. I don't want to cost Kubica time. That's not what I wanted there, him going defensive. That's not ideal. The guys behind have lost time, which is good, so this is fine. Like I said, I'm locked on with Sainz because he's on the same strategy as me, so he's my rival. So as long as he's there in my sights, I'm not too concerned. We'll make it work.
strategy is available on the MFD. Understood, copy that.
Yeah, we'll go for that. I can go a little lap longer on these, that's fine. I feel like the tyre is very consistent. It's got good tyre wear. And it's one lap less on the soft, which is a good thing, in my opinion, because you'll notice the tyre at the end of the race. So if you can go one lap longer when you're first in and take the pain early, then that's what you want to do. Right then, I think we're getting to that pit stop territory. At the moment, Kvyat behind is battling with Verstappen very, very fiercely, and they've dropped back massively. So at the minute, we're securing 9th and 10th in terms of the points. But with the Alpha just up the road and also Sainz right there, it's still open this season. You know, we can still get more points, but I think Kubica's going to pit in here. No, he doesn't. It stands there for one more lap. Okay, fair enough. The leaders do pit though. And we're going to gain a few places. As a consequence, Ricciardo pits in as well in the Alpha, which is important to note. Now we might have to make that move. It's a good time to get the slingshot on Kubica before he pits. So we're going to try and pass him here as Hamilton rejoins just behind us. Now's a good time to make the move on Robert. So we're going to turn the engine up here because I can get that slingshot and really close the gap to Sainz on this straight. So here we go. We're gaining on my teammate. Open up DRS. We're gaining on Kubica here. He's going to go defensive. We'll just pass him naturally on the racing line. And there we go. We time that move nicely, and now let's get after Sainz here. Now it's important to get after him because we need to get very close, dare I say passing before the pit stops. So the hunt begins. A little bit hot on the brakes there, that's going to cost me a little bit of time. As Kubica still stays out, interesting strategy. Personal best 45.3, that's a better lap from us. As we start to pick up the pace now. Still can't quite get within Sainz's DRS though, which is a little bit annoying. But Kubica's keeping the Mercedes behind, and I'm giving Kubica DRS here by keeping him within my range. So that's going to help, of course. Let's try and get Sainz this lap though. I need to get within DRS. I'm starting to run out of laps now. And performance on the tyre. Okay, Lewis is on my gearbox, but I've finally got within Sainz's DRS, which is what I wanted. That's going to help me out massively. Surely Kubica will pit in now before he loses more time. Yes, he does. Right then.
Robert is in the pits. Robert in the pits.
We can now use DRS on Carlos Sainz, which will help me defend from Lewis. Not to say I'm really fighting him, but I think I can get ahead of Sainz rather than Lewis get ahead of me. Using up the rest of my rich mix and overtake here up the hill through Eau Rouge. Don't think we'll pass him here, but we'll get bloody close. As I'm running out of DRS deployment now. Here comes Lewis, he's close. He's going to go for it. Right, let's let him go. We'll let him go. We won't fight it. Hopefully he can put some pressure on Sainz. And I get to save a bit of ERS. And Sainz actually pits in, that's an early one. Is he going to go into the hard tyre? Could be.
We're approaching the pit window. You'll be on the softs.
Interesting strategy there from Sainz. It could be on the hard tyre, so that might rule him out of contention. We're going to stay out here for a few more laps. Let's make sure we pick up DRS on Lewis here. I don't want to lose DRS preferably. There we go. That should be good enough to at least get DRS on the Camel straight. Okay, we've got Leclerc behind us now. He wants to make a move. We won't hold him up too much because I'm doing my own race now. These laps are important to not waste too much time. And also that Ferrari is bloody quick on the straight anyway, so here he goes. He'll go to the left hand side. Quite straightforward. Just let him go. We lose no time of our own. And he can take the racing line there. There we go. And now can I use his slipstream to just follow. Right then, one more lap. Let's make it a good one. Right, we're going to pit in this lap. Leclerc hasn't put away that much, and Bottas behind currently sits on the fastest lap. I've definitely got my eye on that. I think we could pick up an extra point here today, possibly, if we have a good enough lap into the bus stop. I'm going to carry a little bit more speed than normally would through here because we can use the pit entry to get the car slowed down. Don't touch the wall, there we go. Alright, that's a good entry, good in lap. And overall, decent first in. Now we're going to see where we rejoin. We do get the benefit of the turn 1 kind of pit exit helping us out. I think we're going to rejoin behind Kubica, I think, realistically speaking. I guess we'll find out. Here we go, boys.
Go now.
1.864. I'll tell you what, we could give Sainz a bit of trouble here. Sainz is on the hard tyre.
Strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now.
Okay, right behind Sainz we rejoin. I think we can pass him straight away here. He's on the hard tyre. We're nicely tucked into the slipstream. This could be a very easy pass. Here we go. Let's get past the McLaren and get P8. Kubica's still holding 10th place, which is good news as well. And he's got the medium, so he might have the pace to get past Carlos Sainz. So it could be the day Kubica finally scores points for us. I'm going to run lead mix and low ERS just for now, just to save the last bit of fuel in ERS before we go for that fastest lap next time round. But let's go after Danny Rick. Right, then we're going to try and set a purple lap. So let's get a head down. Hopefully that'll put me right on the back of Ricardo come the next lap. Here we go. Okay, we're starting again on Danny Rick here. Midway through my fastest lap of the race. So we're going to get the slipstream.
We advise moving to mix 2. Fuel to mix 2.
We're going to get the toe all the way down towards the bus stop chicane. I'm going to turn the ERS deployment down because I'm going to hit him in Blanchimont otherwise. There we go, now we turn it back up. Down the inside we go. Easy move on the brakes. Ricardo's trying to hold the inside, but we're going to get the move done and get the DRS. So that's going to help us out up to the line. There we go, 43.9, fast up of the race. Hopefully that's enough. But we now got to move on. P7 in this race, best of the rest. That's pretty much as best we can do, to be honest. I know there's a racing point amongst the big boys and Verstappen's behind us, but generally speaking P7 is best of the rest, so not too shabby. I'm now hoping Kubica can get past Sainz. Meanwhile, looks like Danny Rick isn't done just yet in the Alpha. He's got good straight line speed here. I'm going to commit to the racing line and hope he doesn't go down the inside, and he doesn't. Right, hopefully we can drop him in the middle sector now.
Okay, some information on Raikkonen. They are out of the race.
Okay, Raikkonen, first retirement in the McLaren. He's had a bit of a rough race here today with the damage on the front wing. Seems like no safety car is going to come from it, or VSC. So we move on, we push. My pace isn't blistering on this tyre. I've only just now, for the first time, cleared Ricardo out of the 1 second window. But my pace isn't electric on these. Like I said, it kind of goes back to square one in practice. I don't really have the pace, not as much as I normally would. Just the racecraft was on point and the strategy was also on point. And the medium tyre stint at the beginning really helped us out. But we might struggle here towards the end when the tyres start to fade. I think Ricardo might come back at me, so I've got to be careful. Chin-ups to go at the minute. The tyres are holding on and showing no signs of really fading. Ricardo is 1.6. I'm keeping him out of the DRS range, and that's where we want him to be. So overall it's working out okay. Also Kubica is not catching signs, but is looking pretty damn good for a point. Hopefully this time, third time lucky. The last 2 times he's been in the points, he's retired in the points. As we pick up our first track extension, they're a bit of a poor one to pick up really. But yeah, Kubica's been very unlucky. The 2 times he's been running in the points, he's retired. So hopefully this time, third time's a charm. But we're looking good for some points here today. Well, there goes my fastest lap. Leclerc's just stolen it from me. A 43.7 by 0.2. So we're going to miss out as there's a yellow flag put on. Someone's had a bit of an incident. Going on to the last lap of the race. And it's Nico Hulkenberg in the Renault. Last lap, let's bring it home. Here we go then, through Stavlo. It's been a good race, and we haven't had the best pace all weekend. Been struggling with the car a little bit. We're still going to score some good points as Hamilton wins. Leclerc though with a 43.5, he really pushed him at the end, but he didn't quite catch him unfortunately. But overall, decent race for us, and actually Vettel nicks it, so Ferrari ending the race strong. We're going to turn the engine down just for this last little bit, try and save a little bit because we've got Monza next, and that'll be a testing engine for the power unit. Sorry, a testing race for the power unit, that's more like it. Here we go then, through the final chicane. And up to the checker flag, and P7, and it's double points as Kubica gets 10th place. Good race.
Great drive, great drive. We're really happy with that performance.
And Mercedes have pulled off a great victory here today. Tell me, Ant, how did they manage to achieve this win?
Well, time management probably played quite a large role in the outcome of this one. As ever, it's not just about speed, it's all about maintaining that speed consistently over a stint. over a race distance. So being able to keep up the lap times while still being smooth on the controls and gentle on the tyres, that's really where the race was won today.
So after a magnificent race, we can now see the drivers making their way to the podium. Once again, it's the Silver Arrows who take top spot, a well-earned victory for Mercedes.
Right, so looking at the final race results, and Hamilton wins the Belgian Grand Prix, 7/10 ahead of Charles Leclerc. Charles Leclerc kept him honest and pushed him right until the end, but couldn't quite pick up the win. Valtteri Bottas P2 running up the podium for Mercedes, and Sebastian Vettel missing out in P4, but he scores the fast lap of the race and picks up the extra point there. So that top four between Mercedes and Ferrari, very, very close as we go into Ferrari territory next at Monza. Kevin Magnussen, P5 in the Racing Point. What a race from him. By far his best finish in that car, and that Racing Point is very strong around here. And Perez had issues with his car earlier on, otherwise he would have been really high up as well. And I think they could have challenged for the podium. I think they were that quick in the Pink Panthers. Then we got Pierre Gasly P6 in the Red Bull, and the highest was Red Bull. So this is a disappointing race for them here today. And then we get P7 overall, some good points, and for the first time ever, it's a double points finish for us with Kubica in P10. And it's a shame it could have been 8 points instead of 7 with the fastest lap, but that was taken away from both Ferraris convincingly, so not much we could have done there. Daniel Ricciardo 8th and Carlos Sainz in 9th, so good races for those guys. And then Verstappen missing out on the points in 11th place, having a bit of a poor race to be honest. I think he got damaged or had some kind of car issue because he didn't really have the pace at all here today. And then we've got Grosjean, Kvyat, Albon, Giovinazzi, Norris, Stroll, Perez, the last classified runner there with car issues, along with Hulkenberg and Raikkonen, who retire from the Grand Prix and don't score any points whatsoever. In terms of what the race means for the Drivers' Championship, we retain our 6th place and we are 2 points ahead of Pierre Gasly, so we're still holding on to that and keeping that Red Bull behind us. Meanwhile, further up, Leclerc jumps ahead of Bottas and Vettel, taking 3rd place away from him. And, we're still in that mix. We're a little bit further back now, but from Verstappen down to Gasly, there is a bit of a 40-point gap there, 41 points to be exact. And Hamilton dominant out front, 89 points clear. And in terms of the drivers further down, Kubica scores his first point, so he gets off the bottom of the table and gets ahead of Grosjean and Stroll. In terms of the constructors, though, we now have 129 points. Quite a way away from Red Bull, Ferrari, Mercedes, of course, but we do have a nice little gap to Magnussen and Perez in the Racing Points, which is good news as Alfa Romeo overtake Haas there in 8th place. But overall, guys, a decent race for us here today. We're now going to move into the laptop and put some upgrades on for Monza and also Singapore, which is the race after. So let's jump into it.
You gained a lot of positions during the race, didn't you? You're surpassing all expectations. Can anything or anyone stop you? Great. Well, that's everything.
Okay, so here we are then on the R&D tree, and it's time to put on some more upgrades onto the car. We have 2,792 points to burn. So, first of all, we're going to purchase the failed engine upgrade for the fuel consumption, which was meant to arrive for this race, and that would hopefully push us to at least the 4th best power unit. We're going to add to that, though, by adding a major front downforce upgrade here, which will arrive hopefully for Singapore. And we still have 1,200 points to spend, and I think the chassis with a little bit of tweaking could really improve. And we've got a few major and ultimate ones, to our disposal. And looking at the options here, I've got quite a few options available to me, but I think I'm going to go for a minor one for now, and it's going to be for the cockpit weight reduction. We're going to get that on the car as well. And we've still got 683 points to spend, so I could actually throw on one more. I think I might be able just to forward one more for the rear downforce, and we could put that on for Singapore, or actually even for the next race actually. So there we go, we're down to 28 points, but we've put on a raft of updates, and if all of that arrives, we should become the 3rd quickest team. We should get very bloody close to Ferrari and Mercedes actually. So if all of that stuff arrives in the next 2 races, it could be a game-changing end of the season potentially, and with the regulation change on the horizon, we've done all of the upgrading we need to do with the car now, so it's now attention now focuses or turns to protecting the car and the upgrades for season 3. But guys, that is going to be it for this episode of Career Mode. If you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like and also get subscribed if you are new for daily Formula 1 content, and also turn on notifications so don't miss any videos from me. And finally, check out these 2 videos on your screen if you have missed them. But other than that, guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you on my next episode very soon. But until then, it's goodbye from me.